I saw absolutely nothing wrong at all with the joke that Chris Rock made. The G.I. Jane 2 joke that was a punchline that went after Jada Pinkett Smith. I didn't think there was anything inappropriate with it. Some people can say, oh, she's got alopecia, she has issues with her hair, whatever. People have been making fun of LeBron James for not having hair for a decade. In fact, they did it at the Super Bowl. People have been making fun of bald people for years in general. The job I didn't think it was a great joke, but the job of comedians at the Oscars for my entire life has been to come out and puncture the overinflated egos of Hollywood celebrities. Everybody you have seen do it. That wasn't even, in my opinion, in one of the top 100 most singeing, most cringing, most difficult jokes that somebody's had to take, okay? If you have ever been to a comedy club, even if you're not famous, and sat down close to the front of the stage, you're going to get made fun of on that kind of level regularly. It's probably been like 7 or 8 years ago, I got roasted. There were hundreds of people there. I guarantee you that many jokes that were levied at my expense were far worse than anything that has been said about a Hollywood celebrity at the Oscars in a long time. So I saw absolutely nothing wrong with Chris Rock's joke. And even if you thought the joke was inappropriate or shouldn't have been made, we cannot set the precedent that if somebody says something that makes you mad, it's okay to hit them. That is a crime. That is basic human decency. You may not like what someone says. It might even be offensive to you. But the person who attacks someone else over words is the loser. And I believe that Will Smith, regardless of the choice made by Chris Rock, should be charged with assault. I don't know why Chris Rock needs to prosecute this case at all. Will Smith hit him open-handed without any aggressive action done by Chris Rock. That's a crime. That's assault. To me, it should be prosecuted. And I just want you to think about the precedent that you're setting if it's not. Whether you're a comedian, whether you are a singer, whether you are an actor on stage on a play, the most sacrosanct rule in general of entertainment is you aren't allowed to enter the stage and accost a performer regardless of whether you agree or disagree with what they are saying, and you certainly are not allowed to physically assault said performer, speaker, singer, comedian, actor, whoever it is. You don't have the right to enter the stage and slap someone. I don't think this was a good look for Will Smith. I also think it was a really bad look for his marriage. Regardless of what you think about someone making a joke, Jada Pinkett Smith, or whatever her name is a celebrity as well. So when two celebrities are there at the Oscars sitting down close to the front of the stage, you are fair game. And so this idea that Will Smith is going to try to defend his wife, frankly, is an embarrassing look for Will Smith. It was an embarrassing look for Hollywood that Will Smith was allowed to go on the stage, to strike Chris Rock, go right back down to sitting on the front row, and no one said or did anything to him. It's a bad look. And then he wins the Best Actor for Best Actor, Oscar, goes up on the stage, and he gets a standing ovation from everyone in Hollywood. Totally unacceptable. It shows what sheep the people in Hollywood truly are. Okay? So, I am on Team Chris Rock here. I was impressed that Chris Rock took the open-handed slap, which was crazy, from a much bigger man. Totally did not expect that he was going to be attacked on the stage, because this has never happened. In fact, if you actually watch the clip as Will Smith comes up on the stage, he thinks that there is going to be some form of humor or joke involved. And remember, Will Smith initially laughed fairly uproariously when the joke was made, and then at some point he decided that he had to defend his wife's honor and go up on the stage and slap Chris Rock. It's an awful precedent to be set. But I give credit to Chris Rock, who one, took the slap, two, stayed up on the stage and managed to deliver the actual Oscar, even though he didn't flawlessly deliver his lines, because, as you can well imagine, I'm sure he was stunned beyond belief that he just got slapped in the face for making a relatively innocuous joke. Later, Will Smith, so I'm Team Chris Rock here, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Later, Will Smith went up on the stage and accepted the award and apologized to the Academy, but said nothing to Chris Rock. Now, I also do not believe that they should take away Will Smith's Oscar. He won it. I haven't seen the movie. I used to watch a lot of the Oscar movies. Now I've seen a lot of the Oscar-nominated animation films because I've got 3 young kids, but I typically am not able to catch up on all of the Oscar movies, so I haven't even watched the Venus and Serena Williams movie, Richard Williams, where Will Smith is playing their father who helped train them into great tennis players. So I haven't seen it. But I don't believe his Oscar should be pulled away. But again, I think the LA police should prosecute him. I really do. And I would, if I were Chris Rock, I would not have made the choice to press charges either. But you shouldn't have to press charges when everybody saw exactly what happened. What Will Smith did was commit assault. We don't need Chris Rock to press charges in order to watch the video and know that an assault happened. And you want to talk about privilege. There's all this talk about privilege. Think about how crazy it is that Will Smith walked up on the stage, physically struck another man who was presenting no danger to him, and then turned around, went back and sat down, and nobody did anything at all to him. Okay? That is the very definition of privilege, that you believe you don't have to abide by the most basic standards of decency. And I understand there's some people out there, and some of you may even be those people. There's a certain redneck overlap, and I can say that because I'm born and raised around rednecks, where people say, oh, if somebody says something bad to you, you should go hit them. No, that is a loser mindset, okay? I am 42 years old. Will Smith is 53. He's over a decade older than me. He's old enough to know way better. We're not talking about a 23-year-old, okay? We're talking about a 53-year-old grown-ass man over halfway through his life. 53 years old. If I am ever in a fist fight, if I am ever striking another man, the only way that's ever happening is if my life or my wife or family's life or someone close to me's life is being threatened in a violent manner. Or I'm being paid millions of dollars to engage in combat sports. And I don't even think I would do the second one now because I got enough money. I don't need to make money and risk getting significantly hurt at the age of 42, about to be 43. I don't need to take that risk. But I got to tell you, I believe that Will Smith has significant psychological issues because the way he responded to that joke is not the way that a sane and psychological person would respond to a joke like that. And so when I saw Will Smith go up on the stage, I thought to myself, my goodness, this guy is incredibly troubled. And like a lot of you, by the way, initially I was unsure whether it was real, but when I saw all the silence and I was watching it live, my kids were in bed. I used to watch the Oscars a lot. I happened to turn it on like 5 minutes beforehand. I'm reading a book about Daniel Boone, believe it or not, and the settling of the early part of the West coming across the Appalachian Mountains. So I literally got my Daniel Boone book and I put the television on mute And when Chris Rock came out, I was like, oh, he's probably going to tell a couple of decent jokes. So I unmuted it. I was just thinking maybe something would happen. And I ended up watching for the rest of the night. But again, ordinarily, we would have the Oscars on in my house. We'd be paying attention. My wife would be watching with me. We just weren't that interested in it because the Oscars have become, frankly, so woke that they aren't that interesting to watch. And this was not staged, right? I understand there are some of you out there who are saying, oh, this was staged, Clay, you're crazy. No. Will Smith's one of the most famous people in the world. He doesn't need more attention. He certainly doesn't need more negative attention. Chris Rock is one of the most famous comedians in the world. Neither one of these guys gain anything from having an incident like this that is staged. I think this was 100% real. I think that Will Smith lost his cool. Maybe he was angry over an earlier joke that was made about he and his wife having open marriages, but it was made by a woman, and he couldn't say anything to them. And I got to be honest with you. I think the fact that Chris Rock is not a big dude and Will Smith is a big dude factored in here. If The Rock had been up on stage and if he had made the same joke about Will Smith's wife, Will Smith is not walking up on the stage and smacking The Rock because he'd probably get his ass kicked. And so I think that this is a bully move by Will Smith, who is bigger and stronger than Chris Rock. And I got to give credit to Chris Rock that he managed to take that open-handed slap and continued and finished the award. And also, by the way, think about this. There are a lot of people, when you hit someone like that, imagine if he had knocked Chris Rock down. Does the security come out and help him get up? What if Chris Rock had responded by throwing his own punch at Will Smith and both of them on the stage had ended up in a fist fight? All of this, I always try to keep in your mind, when you allow the crazy to be unleashed, you also incentivize other people's crazy to be unleashed, right? As soon as Will Smith went up on that stage and smacked Chris Rock, he doesn't control what Chris Rock's response is going to be. And I made a joke about it, but I kind of wanted Chris Rock to come back out of backstage with a chair in his hands and WWE style smack Will Smith in the back of the head while he was giving his acceptance speech. And by the way, Will Smith's acceptance speech was strange. He said he's trying to bring, basically decency back to the world more. And I'm like, wait a minute, dude, you just walked up on the stage as a 53-year-old man and smacked somebody in the face because you didn't like a joke that they made. Again, every comedian in America hates Will Smith now. And we need to keep in mind, Will Smith is from the comedic universe. So if anybody should be familiar with what is required of an Oscar comedian in terms of making jokes, that is what everybody should be thinking about. Now, the one positive here is, thank God this wasn't a race-related issue. Can you imagine if it had been a white comedian making the exact same joke and Will Smith had walked up on stage and smacked him? It would have turned into a huge racial issue, and that white comedian might get canceled. I mean, seriously. If a white actor had walked, like, let's say it's Bradley Cooper, had walked up on stage and smacked Chris Rock like that because he made a joke, it would turn into a huge racial issue as well. So the only positive associated with this is at least there was no racial animus involved or argued to be involved, although that doesn't stop the woke universe from weighing in. And Dr. Jason Johnson, who is a professor at Michigan State, immediately tweeted this out. No way Will Smith does that to a white comedian, a Bill Burr or Ricky Gervais. He wouldn't have even been able to reach the stage. He definitely would have been asked to leave afterwards, and both of those comedians would have been just as likely to make that joke. So wait, you think that security would have kept Will Smith off the stage if it were Bill Burr or Ricky Gervais, and that if Will Smith had hit a white comedian, they would have demanded that he leave? You're crazy. To me, the ultimate privilege, and I've been arguing this for years, this isn't new, isn't white, black, Asian, Hispanic, male or female, it's rich privilege. If you are wealthy, if you are famous, you are able to get away with far more than someone who is not wealthy. And by the way, hot girl privilege, in my opinion, is the number one privilege on the planet, right? If you are a girl and you are really good looking, you can get away with anything compared to everybody else. So hot girl privilege is number one, rich privilege is number two. And what Will Smith was able to take advantage of was his celebrity privilege. Nobody did anything to him despite the fact that he committed assault. Think about this in the context of sports. We got people getting kicked out of sporting events for yelling mean comments to athletes now, right? You're courtside in an NBA game and an athlete decides that what you have said is inappropriate or unacceptable. You get kicked out of the arena, and sometimes you get banned for life. That's what they try to say, right? All of these stories. If an athlete decides that you are saying something that they don't like. At the Oscars, Will Smith was able to walk up onto the stage and strike the performer live on television and just went right back to his seat, and nobody required any sort of contrition or significant apology or anything else from Will Smith for what he did. So I obviously have a ton of thoughts about this. I probably could do an entire radio show today just talking about the Will Smith and Chris Rock fallout, but here's what I would say in general. If you teach your kids that somebody saying something mean to you justifies physical violence, you are failing as a parent. And if you engage in physical violence because of something that someone says to you, you are failing as a human being unless there is physical danger involved in your response. People say mean things to me all the time. I can't just walk right up and punch them or slap them because they said something mean to me. Now, we can argue about the difference between social media speech and speech in real life, but we've had, whatever it is, 80 Oscars so far, and nobody has ever walked up on the stage and struck someone before. This is completely unacceptable, and I believe, again, to reiterate, I think Will Smith should face criminal charges. Now, I think he would plea down, but this is the very definition of assault. Can't allow it to happen. Can't praise him in any way. And I'm glad that the vast majority of you agreed with me when I allowed a poll to go up, and everybody, I said, hey, what's your position on this in general? I think it was 86%. I'm going to look at the latest number. I believe it was 86% of you. Yes, over 75,000 of you voted, and I'm going to retweet this right now. So if you want to have your voice heard, you can go vote in this as well. We'll get it over 100,000. Which side are you on? 86% of you said you were on Chris Rock's side. And by the way, a CNN analyst immediately blamed Donald Trump for the aftermath of the Will Smith, Chris Rock Oscars incident. Howard Stern also said Will Smith and Donald Trump are the same people, which is ridiculous. But I will say, this is maybe the first time ever that I found myself on the same side with Howard Stern, with the ladies on The View, and Buck Sexton and me on the radio show in general.